fallout over the Epstein files continues. There are rumors that FBI Director Dan Bongino is about to resign after a blow-up with Attorney General Pam Bondi this weekend. And you know who really tried to rally the supporters on Truth Social, saying Bondi's doing a great job, and claiming that Obama and Hillary created the vials. That's his go-to. When he's not sure, he says it's them. But actually, it's y'all. So MAGA world is still demanding answers. They want to know. Take a look.
How many of you are satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap.
How many of you guys think, by raising your hand, that the government is not telling us the full story about what happened with Epstein? All right, I'm in the right place at the right time.
It's obvious that this is a huge PR disaster for the Trump administration. There's no way for them to spin their way out of this.
You must appoint a special prosecutor immediately. That special prosecutor, right?
Who wants a special prosecutor on Epstein?
So it looks like they're not letting anybody off the hook here. Now, how can the administration get past this? Can they? Can they get past this?
I don't know, girl, but bring me some popcorn, because watching them fight amongst themselves is the most entertaining thing I've seen all year. Look, I think that they're trying really hard to get past it, right? They're throwing all sorts of spaghetti at the wall to see how he appeases the base, how he distracts the base with other things. Like last week, they announced that they were doing investigations into Comey and Brennan. Then Bondi announced that she was firing something like 20 DOJ employees, people who had worked on the January 6th prosecutions. And then Trump, this weekend, decided, and they've been posting all these memes of Trump as Superman.
Oh, my gosh. That was crazy. I thought that was like a spam account. I didn't think that was real.
No, whenever you think it's a spam account, it's real. But the last one was Trump picking a fight with our former View co-host, Rosie O'Donnell, threatening to take away her citizenship. So, the base doesn't like Rosie. Let me just say this. This is not North Korea. This is not a monarchy. Donald Trump and no president has the authority or jurisdiction to unilaterally take anybody's citizenship away. Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell is a natural-born U.S. citizen, born in Long Island in 1962. There's very few things that a citizen can do, and then they'd have to, like crimes, like treason or trying to overthrow the government. So if anybody's got to be careful, it ain't Rosie. But, and it's got to be done in front of a judge and taken away by a judge. So this is just him.
So you think this is him
look at the shiny object I'm throwing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think this is the biggest fracture in MAGA that we've seen to date. But I actually think that people well beyond Trump followers care about this. They want to understand what happened with Jeffrey Epstein and what the government knows. And what I think is interesting is Pam Bondi did not release that memo last week, basically saying there's nothing to see here, there's no client list. I'm confident saying without the White House's knowledge. And the way that this would work is the White House would at minimum be tipped off that this information is going out. And the President of the United States, if he wanted to do what his base is asking for and release any remaining evidence that there is about Jeffrey Epstein, he would have the authority to say, no, Pam, release it all. So then enter Dan Bongino, the deputy FBI director, who's threatening reportedly to resign over this. He's misreading the room. Pam Bondi is doing what Donald Trump wanted her to do. And the two things that stand out to me are this. There's sort of this thought that maybe Trump is somehow implicated and that's why we're not getting this information. But all of this existed for the entirety of the Biden administration. So the idea that if there was damning evidence about a former and potentially future president engaging in the worst crimes, I would think that would have come out. Yeah. The second that stands out to me is Donald Trump never really talked about Jeffrey Epstein. I looked it up. It was maybe 5 times in close to a decade. But all these people he surrounded himself with talked about him constantly. I'm talking hundreds of times. They made their profiles. They made their names. His own vice president on saying, we're going to get to the bottom of what Jeffrey Epstein did. So there's just like math that isn't adding up. And I think the public just feels genuinely lied to. We know Epstein was a really bad dude. We know he committed crimes, but the facts that they're giving us after years of saying there is a there and there's more information is just not good enough, and it's not going to go away.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, mainly because there was this thing called the Franklin scandal in the Midwest years ago, and it involved police chiefs and government people, and it was linked with one of the kidnappings I grew up watching, and these pedophile rings have been around for a while. Epstein is just one right now, but there's a guy named Nick Bryant who actually published the Black Book of Jeffrey Epstein. You can look it up yourself. He released it on Gawker. It does not implicate the people in the book because it's all contacts, so it could be anyone he's meeting with or anything else. I don't believe there's a secret client list. I think that Black Book is as close as you're going to get, but you can see it. And I would say if you want to see who's speaking truth to power, look up Nick Bryant's work on all of this. His whole life has been dedicated to child welfare, and these rings exist, and powerful people are involved. More so than politicians, possibly, it's money. It's tons of money involved in these rings, which is why I absolutely support anyone that still continues to push on this. I'm not looking to the Trump administration for any information on this. I want the actual facts of the case, and I will support anything that involves digging deeper.
I guess the reason that I'm a little confused about this is because there's, this is fracturing his base. He is in charge of telling the Attorney General, listen, why don't you just release this list? Pam Bondi said that the list was on her desk. A lot of people in the administration have indicated that there is a list. Now, all of a sudden, there is no list. And then all of a sudden, Trump says to his reporters, what's going on with on Truth Social, what's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. So now he's calling his supporters selfish. He's trying to make this go away. Yet, in 2002, he told New York Magazine, I've known Jeff for 15 years. He's a terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. Yeah, ill, right? So he said that, and then also what Pam Bondi didn't release because it's already been released, Trump's name is on the logs, the passenger logs of Epstein's aircraft at least 7 times. That's already been made public. I mean, of course, Trump is denying any and all allegations, but all of that information is out there. Why not just put it to rest and say, release the list?
Because when they did do that, when they said, we've looked and there's nothing there, they didn't believe it. Nobody wanted to believe it. They said, no, that's why when we get in, we're going to release them. Well, you got in there and there wasn't anything there that nobody knew. Everybody knew what was already there because that's the information.
I don't think there's a list.
I don't believe there's a list. I don't believe there's a list. I do think that lots of people have been on that plane. Lots of people had been on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. There is no, from what I've read, there is no indication that they were ever on at the island. Not Jeffrey, but all the people in the flight logs. It doesn't say these people were flown to the island. It just says they were on the plane. So what we're seeing, they're saying, well, now it's Hillary and Obama. Now they put the list out. They should just say, listen, this is what it is.
And there's no. They should just say there's no list. By the way, I do want to mention
that would require them admitting that they've lied.
That they lied.
Well,
exactly.
I think that's why everybody's so upset because people have figured out
that they may be lying about this.
Well, then when you say, when the base sees that Pam Bondi, who they believe in, suddenly says, well, no, there is nothing there. They're like, well, wait a minute. Wait, you said, because we put our belief in you. And once that crack begins, other cracks start showing
up. The trust in the government. I just want to mention that after Epstein's arrest, Trump said, I wasn't a fan. I had a falling out with him a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, that, and maybe they did.
Maybe
who
they did.
Who knows? But now, anything you say is suspect because nobody believes you.
Right.
And that's the problem with lying. That's the problem.